A very good evening and welcome to the News Tonight, your one stop for the day's top stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you through those top stories. We're also keeping a close watch on the Prime Minister's six-nation to four-nation tour of 6 days. We'll get you details of that in a bit. The headlines first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks on a four-nation tour of Europe, heading to Germany first, just reaching in Berlin at the moment. Will gauge the mood of Europe after Brexit and China's Silk Road initiative. Kashmiri separatists force a second day of shutdown across the valley, protesting against the killing of a Hizbul terrorist. Mobile and internet services remain suspended. Sports Minister Vijay Goyal warns against any plans for an India-Pakistan bilateral cricket series as BCCI and PCB officials meet in Dubai. Says no series with Pakistan is possible until Islamabad stops harboring terrorists. And North Korea files a missile into Japanese waters. Tokyo protests strongly and condemns the launch, but confirms that there was no damage. Top story this evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached Berlin, the first stop of a six-nation tour to Europe. While his visit to Germany, France, Russia and Spain are important economically, the Prime Minister will also be gauging the mood of the European nations after Brexit and any possible realignment of balance of power. Here's a curtain raiser. Prime Minister Narendra Modi departed for Berlin on Monday morning, where he will hold bilateral meetings with Chancellor Angela Merkel and German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. During a private dinner and summit-level intergovernmental talks with Merkel, Modi is expected to discuss new areas of cooperation in economy and trade, the situation in Asia, and also Germany's response to China's One Belt, One Road initiative.
We see how best we can also see to bring their convening strength, how do we look at strengthening our partnership. On the global partnership, we have our two countries are closely engaged on several global issues of common concern, including expansion of the UN Security Council, how we deal with terrorism worldwide, and also of other issues of importance in the multilateral arena.
After Germany, Prime Minister Modi will move to Spain. This will be the first visit to the country by an Indian Prime Minister in almost 3 decades. He will call on King Felipe VI and hold talks with President Mariano Rajoy. In addition to talks on economy and trade, both the countries will dwell upon international issues of mutual interest, including international terrorism.
Discussions with Spain will not be limited to bilateral issues. We'll be discussing global issues of common concern. Terrorism, of course, and terrorism cooperation on counterterrorism will be an important element of that agenda.
In what will be the most important visit of the tour, Modi will then head to St. Petersburg in Russia from the 31st of May to the 2nd of June for the 18th India-Russia Annual Summit. Modi will hold summit-level talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, which will include issues ranging from relations with Pakistan and China and enhancement of trade and economy.
So it's less than a year that the President and Prime Minister will be meeting again in St. Petersburg. The fact that the summit is happening in St. Petersburg, along with the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, reconfirms the point that there's an emphasis in enhancing, strengthening trade and economic relations. Because we all know that India-Russia relations in the area of defense, nuclear, and space is already very, very ahead. In the area of trade and economy, there are efforts made. The trade had reached up to $10 billion, but it has come down for a variety of reasons, hovering around $7 billion. Investment itself has done a great job last year particularly, reaching almost the target which was set by the leaders of the two countries, that is $30 billion by 2025.
In the last leg of the tour, the Prime Minister will visit France from the 2nd to the 3rd of June for an official meeting with the newly elected French President Emmanuel Macron. The two leaders will discuss UN Security Council reforms and India's permanent membership in it, cooperation in counter-terrorism, climate change and international solar alliance. After Brexit and OBOR, all eyes are on what Modi will manage to achieve with the heavyweight European nations during this crucial tour. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Back home, Kashmir was shut down for the second day on Monday after separatist leaders gave a call to protest the killing of a Hizbul terrorist on Saturday. 8 militants, including Hizbul Mujahideen terrorist Sabzar Ahmed Bhatt, were killed in separate encounters on Saturday. The shutdown was observed in Srinagar and its adjoining areas. Shops, business establishments and educational institutions remained closed and public transport remained off roads. Meanwhile, curfew-like restrictions remain in force in parts of the valley. The restrictions have been imposed by authorities to maintain law and order. The NIA questioned 3 Kashmiri separatists in connection with a case related to the funding of terror activities in Jammu and Kashmir. According to reports, the probe agency asked the separatists to bring bank and property documents besides other papers. The case is based on a sting operation in which a separatist confessed to receiving money from Pakistan-based terror groups through Hawala channels. Now, ahead of the GST rollout in July, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has reiterated that the new GST bill will help the country become a more tax-compliant society. Speaking at a seminar in Bengaluru, Jaitley added that the new tax reform will simplify the process of filing indirect taxes and will act as a deterrent for evaders. Finance Minister also said that the GST will broaden its revenue base and cut compliance costs for companies, and that the union of various indirect taxes under GST in one price will be a monumental taxation change and will bring greater accountability into the system. Jaitley was speaking after inaugurating the new campus of the National Academy of Customs, Indirect Taxes and Narcotics, which will train officers of the Central Board of Excise and Customs, besides officers of VAT Department in the new GST regime.
It certainly will be a more efficient tax. And one of the important changes an efficient tax can bring about is that not only does it check evasion, it also helps in evolving India from becoming a more tax-compliant society.
The Kerala government on Monday said that it will hold an all-party meeting to discuss the newly imposed cow slaughter law across the country. Kerala Agriculture Minister V.S. Sunil Kumar has said that if the need arises, the state government would bring in a law to counter the centre's ban on sale of cattle for slaughter. There have been widespread protests across the state against the new cow slaughter law. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi protesting against the order. The Kerala Congress is observing a black day today to protest against the ban, but it has also suspended 3 workers of its youth wing for killing a cow in public during protests on Saturday. The Environment Ministry had last week banned the sale of cows and buffaloes for slaughter through animal markets. Objections to the centre's order have also come in from Puducherry and Tamil Nadu.
I mean, nobody can dictate to anybody what they should eat and what they should not eat. I mean, it's not only Delhi, Nagpur, need not come from anywhere. And particularly if it comes from a political persuasion, then it is worse because there is a political agenda. Now, does the Prime Minister now realize what is happening in the country? It's the worst generation of jobs in your industrial sector.
Really irrational notification, illogical notification. It is not in accordance to the constitution of our country. It is an assault on the fundamental rights of the people of this country, citizens of this country. And government cannot assume powers to dictate what people should eat or should not eat.
Well, some reports saying that the government is contemplating on perhaps removing buffaloes from the no slaughter list. We'll keep an eye on developments there. Meanwhile, the BJP's key ally in Maharashtra, the Shiv Sena, has once again hit out at the NDA government, questioning its achievements in the 3 years of governance. In an editorial in the party mouthpiece Samna, the party has said that the NDA has only inaugurated and renamed, quote-unquote, the project started by the previous UPA government, and nothing new, barring demonetization, has been achieved in its 3 years in office. The Sena mouthpiece also criticized the note ban decision, saying that the common people and farmers were the worst hit by it. It also said that the decision led to heavy job cuts in industry and markets. Samna also hit out at the RBI over note ban, questioning its authority to destroy hard-earned money of the farmers. With that, a look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. The CBI on Monday took former RJD MP Mohammad Shahabuddin into custody for questioning in an ongoing investigation over the murder of Bihar journalist Rajya. 5 persons have been arrested in the case so far. Shahabuddin is currently lodged in the Tihar jail in the national capital. The Supreme Court has provided relief to several liquor manufacturers of Bihar by extending the time limit for disposing old stocks till the 31st of July. Earlier on the 21st of May, the Apex Court refused to extend the license of 4 liquor companies in the state. Earlier, the extension time was till the 31st of May. After heavy rain, Bengaluru experienced a chemical snowfall. Even as the rain provided much needed relief from the summer heat, it has created new problems for those living near the city's lakes. The heavy rainfall has resulted in the Vantur lake foaming again. The toxic foam spilled onto the roads, creating a dangerous commute. A Delhi court extended the judicial custody of ousted AIADMK leader TTV Dinakaran until the 12th of June. Dinakaran is accused of trying to bribe an EC official in a bid to retain the 2-leaf symbol of the AIADMK for his faction. The Delhi police also asserted that more arrests are likely to be made in the case soon. The Art of Living Foundation on Monday objected to the report filed by the National Green Tribunal on the damage to Yamuna River due to their event on its banks last year. The AOL alleged that the reports were filed without any evidence. The case has been adjourned to the 12th of July. The tribunal asked the AOL to conclude, in fact, their arguments on the 13th of July. With a quick break here, we'll be back with more national and international news in a bit. Stay with us.
Kaziranga National Park, a World Heritage Site. 430 square kilometer area sprinkled with elephant grass meadows, swampy lagoons and dense forests is home to more than 2,200 Indian one-horn rhinoceros, approximately 2/3 of their total world population. The park is also the breeding ground of elephants, wild water buffaloes and swamp deer. Over the time, the tiger population has also increased in Kaziranga.
This is Kibutu in Arunachal Pradesh, East Point East on the map of India. Kibutu is dangerously close to the Chinese pressure point. We see first-hand and unseen areas of sand dunes and see how BSF is guarding this difficult territory along the Indo-Pak borderline. We are now slowly entering into the interior-most parts of the Sir Creek area. Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force justifies each word of this saying. Watch super exclusive episodes of National Security Series only on Rajya Sabha television.
Taking its name from the abundance of semal or red silk cotton trees that bloom vividly here, the Simlipal National Park is home to 3 of India's biggest animal species: tiger, Asiatic elephant, and gaur. Spread over a sprawling area of 2,750 square kilometers, set on a wide expanse of sal forest, this park is nestled in the very center of Mayurbhanj in Odisha. It is one of the most breathtaking nature reserves in India, with forests, grassy meadows and some beautiful waterfalls like Joranda and Badehipani. It is also home to an astounding 1,078 species of plants, including 94 species of orchids.
Welcome back. Let's continue getting you more news. And the Sports Minister Vijay Goyal on Monday ruled out any possibility of bilateral cricket match between India and Pakistan in the near future. This comes ahead of a meeting between BCCI and Pakistan Cricket Board officials in Dubai. Addressing the media, in fact, on Monday, Vijay Goyal said that India cannot play any bilateral series with its northern neighbour as long as terror emanates from Pakistan. He further added that both terrorism and cricket cannot go hand in hand. The Sports Minister also added that Indian cricket body must talk to its government before proceeding with any proposal for any series with the neighbouring country. Over the last couple of years, there have been multiple efforts from cricket boards of both the countries to organise a cricket series between India and Pakistan, but political tensions have not allowed it.
पाकिस्तान के साथ जो भी मैचेस होंगे, मैं समझता हूं बीसीसीआई को पहले सरकार से बात करने के बाद ही किसी तरह का प्रस्ताव या प्रपोजल देनी चाहिए। मैंने पहले ही क्लियर किया था कि बायलैटरल जो हैं पाकिस्तान के साथ बहुत मुश्किल होंगे गेम्स, क्योंकि आतंकवाद, क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म ये रहते हुए पाकिस्तान के साथ खेल के संबंध नहीं बनाए जा सकते। आतंकवाद और खेल साथ साथ नहीं चलेंगे।
Staying with sports news, in the French Open, favourites Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal have advanced to the second round after convincing victories in their opening matches on Monday. Defending champion Novak Djokovic, who chose Andre Agassi as his new coach before the tournament, beat Marcel Granola 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 in the first round. 9 times champion Rafael Nadal, on the other hand, eased past Francis Benoit pair 6-1, 6-4, 6-1. Canadian 5th-seeded Milos Raonic and 7th-seeded Marin Cilic also sailed into the second round with a comprehensive straight victory. In the women's singles, 4th-seeded Garbine Muguruza beat Italian Francesca Schiavone in straight sets to advance to the second round. Muguruza won 6-2, 6-4. Denmark's Caroline Wozniacki also reached the next round with a 3-sets victory over Australian Jamie Furless. And here's more action from the world of sports in Sports Beat. India defeated New Zealand by 45 runs with the Duckworth-Lewis method in effect after the rain-affected practice match on Sunday. Comeback player Mohammad Shami, along with Bhuvneshwar Kumar, shared the bulk of the spoils to dismiss New Zealand for a meagre 189 in 38.4 overs. In reply, India were 129 for 3 in 26 overs when rain stopped play. India will play Bangladesh in the second practice match on Tuesday. Sebastian Vettel extended his Formula One championship lead over Lewis Hamilton to 25 points after winning the Monaco Grand Prix. His Finnish teammate Kimi Raikkonen, who started on pole position, came in second, ensuring a Ferrari 1-2. Lewis Hamilton finishing 7th for Mercedes after starting 13th. Former Athletic Bilbao boss Ernesto Valverde will be appointed as the new head coach of Barcelona. Valverde announced last week that he was leaving Athletic after 4 years in charge. The 53-year-old will replace Luis Enrique, who revealed in March that he would be leaving the club at the end of his 3-year contract. Barcelona gave Enrique a winning send-off as they beat Alaves 3-1 to win the Copa del Rey on Saturday. International news now, and tensions in the Korean peninsula rose again as North Korea test-fired a missile into Japanese waters on Monday. Both South Korea and Japan strongly condemned the latest test, which was yet again in defiance of UN sanctions. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has vowed action along with other nations to deter Pyongyang's repeated provocations.
North Korea once again provoked its neighbors and the international community as it test-fired a Scud-class missile into Japanese waters on Monday. It was the North's third ballistic missile test in as many weeks and the 12th this year. US military monitors said the short-range missile flew for 6 minutes, while Japan said it fell into the country's exclusive economic zone waters. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe strongly condemned the latest test and said his country will join the United States in taking concrete action against Pyongyang.
警告を無視して挑発を続けていることは断じて許すことはできません。北朝鮮に対して厳重に抗議いたしました。先の G7 で合意した通り、北朝鮮の問題は国際社会の最優先事項です。
It was the second time this year that a North Korean missile fell close to Japan. The latest test, carried out in defiance of UN sanctions warnings and possible US military action, has once again heightened tensions in the Korean peninsula. On Sunday, North Korea had tested a new anti-aircraft weapon supervised by leader Kim Jong-un.
ウォンサン付近から一発の弾道ミサイルを東方向に発射した模様であります。発射された弾道ミサイルは約 400km 飛翔し、新潟県佐渡島から約 500km。
South Korea too condemned the test as a grave threat and said it was seeing the recent string of missile launches as a direct challenge to the new leadership in the country.
발수는 현재까지 최소 한 발로 평가하고 있으나 구체적인 발수는 분석 중입니다. 우리 정부의 대북 정책 전환을 압박하고자 하는 의도로 분석하고 있습니다.
The recent series of missile launches and Pyongyang's threat to stage its sixth nuclear test have prompted calls for tougher UN sanctions and a warning from Donald Trump. The US president had said last week at the G7 summit that North Korea was a big problem, promising to resolve it. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Search and rescue operations continue in Sri Lanka as the death toll due to floods and landslides rose to 177 on Monday. With more rains expected in the coming days, rescuers are hurrying on to clear the debris from the landslides. Sri Lanka's worst flooding in 14 years has left nearly 500,000 people displaced, with more than 100 still missing. The army has deployed a dozen aircraft for the evacuations and to carry food and other essentials to affected areas. Residents in 7 densely populated districts in the south and centre of Sri Lanka have been asked to move away from unstable slopes. Sri Lanka has started receiving international help but has appealed for more. India has sent 2 naval ships laden with supplies over the weekend, while the UN has said that it would donate water containers and water purification tablets. The World Health Organization also said that it would support medical teams in the affected areas. With that, a look at some more international news updates in Global Buzz. Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's son, Hussain Nawaz, was interrogated by a Supreme Court-appointed investigation team in the Panama Papers case in Islamabad on Monday. This was Hussain's second interrogation in 2 days in the high-profile case over the Sharif family's assets. Nawaz Sharif and his family members are facing a probe in the alleged money laundering case in the 1990s. Former Prime Minister of Greece and veteran politician Konstantin Mitsotakis passed away on Monday. Mitsotakis, whose political career spanned for more than half a century, was Prime Minister of Greece from 1990 to 1993 and was best known for strengthening ties with the European Union in the 90s. Mitsotakis remained an early proponent of austerity cuts that Greece eventually adopted during the economic crisis. The Filipino army has claimed retaking most of Marawi city from Islamist terrorists amid clashes in which close to 100 people have died. The army intensified operations in Marawi on Sunday, the 6th day since terrorists seized parts of the city in southern Philippines. More than 2,000 residents are reportedly still trapped in the terrorist-held villages. Clashes in the city erupted after terrorists allied to the ISIS came out in support of a top terrorist leader. A 23-year-old man was arrested in West Sussex today in connection with the Manchester suicide bombing. Earlier on Sunday, Manchester police also arrested a person in the Old Trafford area. 16 people have been arrested so far, of which 2 were released without any charges. 22 people were killed and 63 injured in the Manchester terror attack that took place last Monday. British Airways began work to clear a backlog of passengers at 2 of Britain's busiest airports after computer system failure created severe travel disruption starting Saturday. British Airways said that it is aimed to operate the majority of services from Heathrow and Gatwick. Heathrow, however, said that it expected further delays and cancellations. British Airways cancelled all its flights from Heathrow and Gatwick after a power supply problem disrupted its flight operations worldwide and also hit its call centres and website. That's all we have for you in the news tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.